Hope you're enjoying the record of videos that we've done in the past and the brief blips on them. We hope to be bringing you more of those in the more videos in the near future. Tonight, I just want to briefly touch on a topic that was brought up by one of our social media supporters. We posed the question, what topics would you like to hear or like to see? And what came up were some nice suggestions. So rather than going into detail on social media, it's better to maybe put together a video, or if any of you need an individual consultation, certainly reach out to me at my holistic veterinary practice. But tonight, I just wanted to briefly go over a topic that's quite interesting, and that's the incidence of aggression in young animals. Aggression is increasing in animals of all ages, but we're especially seeing them in young animals under a year of age, even in under 6 months of age. Now, there's a lot of reasons for that from a holistic veterinary perspective. For example, our animals are being exposed to so many toxins that are being injected into their bodies or being given by mouth, or they're exposed to in the environment. And these toxins affect the nervous system. And we get sometimes inflammation of the brain known as encephalitis. So certainly there are plenty of toxins out there that our animals are exposed to. Probably the first major factor that I would say is involved with aggression in young animals is the role that the sex hormones play. Most people feel that if you preserve the sex hormones in young animals, that you'll actually have calmer animals that are easier going. And while that may be occasionally seen, especially in inter-male aggression, animals that are neutered actually are spayed, have a significantly higher degree of aggression, in my experience, over 30 years than animals that are not spayed or neutered. What we see is that the sex hormones are involved with all sorts of health processes in the body, not just male or female typical behaviors, but the health of bones and joints, less cancer in our animals, from the preservation of the sex hormones. But sex hormones, as I said, are integrally involved with the behavior of our animals. And as I said, when we preserve them, we actually have calmer animals. Conditions like fear-based anxieties go up, separation anxiety, fear-based aggression, all those things go up in animals that are neutered or spayed. So that's, again, the first major factor. The second major factor are the vaccines that we give these animals. As I've talked about on previous videos, animals are tremendously over-vaccinated, and especially when puppies are going through their growth stage and when their immune systems are developing, that's one of the most dangerous times to be giving these vaccines, especially when given in combination or overdone. But vaccines, especially the rabies vaccine in dogs and cats too, but the rabies vaccine has been shown to cause all sorts of problems in terms of aggression and anxiety and irritability. And so, the rabies vaccine is a big incriminator with aggression. The other vaccine that I see is the combination distemper parvo vaccine, again, triggering, especially from the distemper component of the vaccine, inflammation of the brain. And that, again, can lead to these aggressive young animals and even seizure disorders. The next biggest factor with, again, increasing aggression are the overuse of flea and tick medications, like we've spoken about on previous videos. Flea and tick medications have their main ingredients are tremendously neurotoxic, and they can cause seizures in our animals, not to mention behavioral issues that I've seen. Animals become more agitated or more frightened, again, after these flea and tick medications are given orally or even, obviously topically. So we do have this incidence of aggression in young animals. And we also want to remember about the diet of our animals. Food is medicine. And so when we feed processed commercial foods that have all sorts of preservatives and dyes and colorings and synthetic additives, we actually affect the nervous system. We affect the brain, just like it does in people. So again, species-appropriate diets, especially raw meat-based diets, are the best way of preventing behavioral changes coming from, poor diet. So we can't forget about diet in our animals. Treatment of aggressive issues, in my experience, I find homeopathy works wonderfully, especially when there are vaccine-related behavioral aggression changes. Homeopathic remedies like thuya and listen after the rabies vaccine can often do dramatic wonders in treating some of these early behavioral problems in our animals. Herbal therapies, again, are very, very helpful. There are certainly food-based herbs that have a calming effect on the nervous system and help rebuilding damaged brain tissue from encephalitis from vaccines. So, we can't forget herbs as well. And finally, we have, training, behavior modification. We can't forget that. When children have behavioral issues or anxiety or aggressive type issues, they do go to a physician, but they also go to a psychologist or a therapist. So our animals sometimes need that as well. They often will need some training or behavior modification to help with these, aggressive and other behavioral tendencies. So that's just a brief summary of, again, young aggression occurring at epidemic levels in our animals. And if you want to learn more about my practice, please go to my website, drdym.com. That's doctor spelled out. And that has all my contact information, my email address, and I'd be happy to consult with you on any animal problems, especially if you're having aggression in your young animals.